And with that creepy song finished, welcome everyone to episode 35 of the Hack Jack Show. I am the ever forgetful and lovable Hack, and actually, my co-host Jack is not here yet. He'll be here soon. He'll be here soon. In the meantime, until until he comes here properly. Just to give a hint what we're going to talk about for today's episode, as you can see in the title, we will be talking about the news of the Resident Evil 4 remake. And oh boy, this old hack have a lot to say on that matter. And I'm actually quite curious what Jack thinks of it. Haven't heard any opinions from him of him that of him about that recently. And just to make sure, sorry folks, okay, got probably should have this up, but I wanted to make sure. So yeah, okay, so first off, I guess I should clarify first that this is at this moment a just a rumor, and there's only been one source, which was VGC, which is a site called VGC that's has reported this as an actual any truth to it. And any every other gaming news site um, has not received any official confirmation from Capcom whether the of the validity. Well, they haven't officially responded whether or not Resident Evil 4 will be officially remade. Though, however, in the initial article itself, that there is they already have a potential release date, and as well as people who will be behind the project of who will making this game. So that's more than nothing. And Capcom's no different when it comes to having a lot of potential rumors. And
Well,
actually,
cool. Hello?
Jack, welcome. We've already started. Don't worry. No, you didn't miss too much. Let's do some introductions and talk.
I mean, yeah,
And we're talking about.
yeah, it was 2 minutes. I. It's hard to see or guess the time whenever you're.
And and actually, Jack, go ahead. Do your introduction. I did mine, so go ahead do yours.
Oh, well, that was perfect timing then. I am your self-deprecating co-host, Jack.
Mm-hmm. And and Jack, guess what we're gonna be talking about today?
From what I saw in your tweet, it was. But you said Resident Evil 4, right?
Correct. The potential of the Resident Evil 4 remake being a reality.
Mm-hmm.
So, because it's not confirmed, Capcom hasn't said anything official. But knowing Capcom and their recent patterns lately, I don't see it as something far fetched, and the game you can argue is old enough.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, but still, I kind of want to see it just so I could see the HD version, the suplex, the German suplex on the zombie, or whatever they're called now.
and it's, no, I don't deny that I've not seen HD. Although, isn't there like a literal fan project of which they done exactly that, where they did a better HD remaster than Capcom themselves?
Probably.
Yeah, probably. But besides just talking about the remake, about the potential remake of that game, I also want to go back down memory lane and all the lowly decisions that Capcom has made throughout the years. Since um, I'm not a big fan of Resident Evil 4 being remade
Why?
because, stand by this, because the original game, warts and all, whatever warts it has, and what a is still a great game you can still play today and is not hindered by anything remote remotely outdated to the point of unplayable.
Now, when you say like, actually, let's clarify our definition because for me, I am thinking at least with Resident Evil, a fresh coat of paint. That's it. No, nothing how they did with 2 and 3. Literally changed everything about the game. Which one are you?
Well, I'm referring to like a actual full-on remake of the game.
Uh, oh, then yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and besides, the game's already been upscaled and ported officially by Capcom for these what ever since his generation started.
Hmm.
Like to quote a tweet I saw, Capcom continues its mission to put RE4 in every console ever. Oh man, the game's like 15 years old and they're still milking it for all it's worth, with the Switch being like the latest console to have it. I'm surprised it's not on Stadia.
True.
But but to go over the first part of this. So now we're gonna go into assumption that this rumor is real and that Resident Evil 4 remake is going to come out in 2022, right after Resident Evil 8. Now,
Hmm.
now more than likely, Resident Evil 4 will probably borrow a lot of elements from RE8, wherever how they decide to make that game. Since, judging by patterns here, RE2 RE2 remake borrows a lot of elements from RE7. Obviously, not necessarily gameplay
Hmm.
wise, but engine, um, and sort of the flow to flow gameplay.
Yeah.
So now that would mean that when RE8 comes out, that's gonna be the basis of what would be the remake for Resident Evil 4. Now, of course, you and I are both in agreement. This we don't see this game necessarily as a remake. And do you personally know anyone who ever played that game and felt, eh, I don't like it. They should try to do it again.
No, I've never.
Same here. And I've been in a lot of and I'm in all types of Resident Evil fans. Both the ones that are just accept anything Capcom makes, and the one that kind of criticize like way too strong. You're like, oh, okay, it's a game, dude. Calm down. It's just a game. But but even then, with those two extremes, none of them have ever considered, that they will be fine with them remaking RE4. Now, with this being a possibility, let's I'll ask kind of the biggest question in regards to that. Let's say they do this, it's a real project. Would you would you want the actual shooting where when you have to stop and shoot in RE4, you couldn't move, keep it or disregard it?
I would say keep it. Just kind of adds a little bit of because they shamble about still, even in the later levels. So it kind of fair unless if they have to remake the maps to where it makes them more closed in because they have a lot of open areas and keeping the players stationary when they're makes perfect sense difficulty wise, just so they can be able to kind of have that fake sense of urgency whenever you're fighting in the go. Like I'm just thinking about this more like a keeping the game fun, and I really don't having to move around while shooting will make the game or less fun. It will make it less fun, to be honest, in my opinion.
Now, but do you think it could work in making it more scary?
Stationary or
Um, Stationary is obviously because you're limiting movement, but what we've seen from like RE2, two remake and RE3, which is like moving like a regular third-person shooter. Do you think they can still? Do you think they can just still carry that from the previous RE games and still keep the intensity and horror that was in RE4?
well, the thing is, the difference is that in RE2 and I think in 3 as well, I'm not sure. Most of the areas are closed in. So yeah, it was fine to move and shoot and still have that intensity and scare because it's literally all claustrophobic. The difference between that and RE4 is that with R they they they're more open areas, so it doesn't count doing that.
Except if once you go inside the church, then it becomes a little tight.
Yeah, once when it comes to the church, you can. I mean, I'm
And
not saying it's like the worst thing. I'm just saying that that's my general opinion.
yeah, and actually, have I ever told you, Jack? Ever told you that I actually wrote a college paper on this game?
Really?
Mm-hmm. Specifically, it was specifically, um during my game design degree, I had to write a paper about a certain game creator, and I decided to do it on the creator of the Resident Evil series, Shinji Mikami,
Mm-hmm.
who created and he made the original game, the remake for one, and Resident Evil 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I recall that for Resident Evil 4, are you aware of the like the crazy the development about that game?
Not.
Well, to summarize, pretty much. So the original RE4 came out in 2005. Want to know how long? You want to know when they actually started working on the game?
When?
1999.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I kid you not, there ex I kid you not, the very first version of RE4 was so radically different, it was actually including more
Mm-hmm.
of paranormal aspects into it that it was starting to not really become Resident Evil 4. You know, you're adding all this mysticism into a game called Biohazard. But it wasn't like but they developed so much. But then at the game director for that very first version, Hideki Kamiya, he
Mm-hmm.
realized, you know what? Let's just let's just not call it Resident Evil 4. You know what you know what they changed it to?
What?
Devil May Cry.
Oh yeah, remember this part of the conversation.
hmm and then becomes version 2 where it looked something where it was actually going to be something akin to traditional Resident Evil, and there's nothing much known about it besides that there was a demo of it called the Hooked Man demo
Mm-hmm.
in one I want to say E3 or some other gaming public show. And
Oh,
at that
wait, hold on.
point,
Sorry. Family emerge. Family's calling. Give me 1 second. Entertain.
all right, well, to let everyone else know, I'll probably repeat to him when he comes back. The second version, the Hooked Man demo, for from what it seemed, it looked like it was something probably like a mixture of Remake 1 and what would eventually would have been 4. However, with Kamiya stepping down and Mikami coming in to essentially save the project, he was he was not satisfied with how that second version of RE4 was. And so they scrapped that and decided to start all the way over again and started to do something radically different that was has never been seen before. And then that's how you get Resident Evil 4. Since Mikami working on this series since 1997, I believe that's what the first game came out. Let me double check. The original game that came out in no 1996. So he's been with this series for over 10 years, and he's figured, you know what? Let's do something radically different.
I am back. Sorry.
Oh, Jack. So to uh
Reiterate.
to reiterate, there was a second version of RE4, and by that
Mm-hmm.
point, the original creator of the series, Mikami, came back,
Mm-hmm.
and the and that second version was more akin to would have been Resident Evil Remake and Resident Evil Zero,
Mm-hmm.
but but Mikami, he he wasn't really satisfied, and there's not a lot of details of like what exactly he wasn't satisfied of.
Mm-hmm.
My educated guess is that he kind of felt that he was probably just doing the same thing like he has been with RE0 and Remake 1. He didn't feel like he
Mm-hmm.
was doing anything different. So, he then decides to start the whole project over again from scratch. And this was around, I want to say, what, 2003 maybe? 2002? Starts to do the whole thing again and starts to do a new type of gameplay. And from then on, the rest is history. So, and I believe, I could be wrong, and I'm trying to find the info, but I wish I had those sources I had all those years ago, but I believe that the for Leon not be able to move while aiming, I actually
Hmm.
believe that was intentional. Like that was
I
an
mean, I'm not surprised if that it wasn't.
yeah, it was an intentional it was an it was an intentional design choice to shackle the player because with RE4, the player finally has a actual like more free movement, especially with the new camera, with a more free roaming camera, since everything's not set up like in the original games where you have these predetermined angles that you have to walk through depending on which part of the area you're in.
Hmm.
And so he had to find a way to cleverly, okay, how do I keep things in tens and and the horror still intact, even though the player has a lot more control of move, movement movement. Why am I having such a hard time saying that? Movement, mew.
Mute the
So,
movement.
so he decides to you can't to add the ability of you can't move while you're aiming, and and if you recall, as far as actually moving your character, you can only really move forward and backwards. And if you're holding running, then you can turn while you're moving. But you really
Hmm.
did have to like almost like Z targeting, set up your camera if you want to turn to the left, to the right, or behind you.
Hmm.
At least that's how it was when I played it on the Wii, which is how I play Resident Evil 4.
I played it on the GameCube,
Uh, I forgot.
and
Did you?
man, I was terrified of the game.
I'm sure you were, especially considering how young you were at the time. I'm surprised your parents let you play that game, unless it was at a friend's house.
Uh, my parents, they kind of did make sure a monitor what I was doing. Let's see, how do I think it was just like some days where I would bother my brother too much. And they're like, fine.
So as you see, Jack got to play Resident Evil 4 at a young age, and and I couldn't even watch my one VHS of Power Rangers
So
because my
like,
because my grandmother saw the monsters. It was like, ah, le diablo.
because like the thing that terrified me the most, and it's not that I played the whole game or the start of the game. Well, I think I did play the start of the game. I jumped around a little bit because I was pretty much using my brother's, but never really saving. So I'd never messed with his save file. At least I don't remember. And the one thing that terrified me was the iron. Those
Oh,
things are
yes, they are.
terrifying, especially at a young age. Seeing how they can traumatize.
Oh yeah,
You remember how they killed you, right?
oh, did they like I remember the Iron Maidens.
They they're pretty much the regenerators, but so what
Wait,
they end
did
up doing, launch their arms, grab you, and then like shove you right.
oh, that's right. Actually, you know what? Actually, I confused them. I confused it with the other monsters. You know the ones where you meet? They're in these coffins, and they're all like um bondaged up, and they have these like Wolverine claws on them.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I forgot what those were, but those were Those were freaky. I remember vividly fighting against them, and of course the regenerators and Iron Maidens. Good lord. Good thing I got that thermal scope.
Anything with like I just noticed this when it came to when it came to games that like horror games that have the whole regenerator type of monster, they just terrify me because have to kill him quick or you can't kill him like at all,
Hmm.
and you have to run.
And would you agree with me if I say this statement that Resident Evil 4 has the best opening set piece out of any game.
Yeah.
Especially since, like, after you move away from that first house and you fall into that village, the game goes from like already like at a 10,
Hmm.
maybe an 8 to like 100 real quick.
Especially with the chainsaw.
Oh, always with Doctor. Oh, he's a doctor, you know. Uh,
I just called him Chainsaw Guy.
oh, I'm trying to remember because I'm not kidding you. He's called Doctor something. Let me see. I'm sure I can find a RE4 wiki somewhere.
Dr. Robotnik.
That's like a TV show.
Uh,
Not
it sounds
monsters.
Dr. Robotnik.
Oh come on, not Jim Carrey.
No, that's literally what I said the first time, and you're like, that sounds like a
Oh,
TV.
sorry, man. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with your. Maybe it's my connection. I don't know what it is, but you kind of cutting in and out.
Ah, okay.
Could have sworn this
Well,
guy was a doctor, or at least, or maybe that was
maybe
just
you're
a.
thinking of Resident Evil 5.
I never played five.
Oh,
Wait,
I'm
did
just
he?
gonna.
Oh wait.
It's easier to just look up Chainsaw Guy.
Oh yep, I did. And oh dang it, really?
Chainsaw Man.
He's literally just giant
Doctor
chick. Doctor what?
Salvador.
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 Okay, I was gonna say Salazar, but I was like, no, that's not Salazar.
Salazar.
Salvador.
Doctor Salvador.
Yeah, that
But
was his name. That was his name. I knew he was a doctor. What he was a doctor of?
oh, also like Resident Evil 4, some of the more gruesome ways of dying.
Oh yeah. Have you ever seen that compilation of all the deaths you can achieve in that game?
Yeah,
That's
especially uh, the first one you can ever see, or that's already gruesome, as you said, from going from 10 to right after you jump out the window. If you have low health and you get caught out by the chainsaw, there goes your head.
oh yeah. Or the very funniest one. I'm sure everyone has fallen for this prank. If you're like when you go to that lake for the first time and you start shooting at the water.
Oh yeah,
Oh, I love that. I love that. Love it. I love that. I
hey,
still
don't
haven't
get
yet got anyone to actually do that, but that's still a funny thing.
what you kept telling your family. They're like, hey, keep shooting at that lake. Is that what you do or what?
Uh, um, no. First, I tried it myself to see if it was actually like a real thing. I
Hmm.
learned that, I learned it was a real thing. The fish does get you if you shoot the water too much. But any other people, not just family, I try to get it with, they just, I wasn't hiding it very well, so they already figured I was trying to, make mess with them, so they didn't fall for it. And blame it on me. I was being too like excited for them what's gonna happen.
You should have said something like around the, hey, look, just if you keep shooting at the you do get like a little small buff. It gives you some free health items and some ammo. Just keep shooting. Like bait them with supply.
That's true. Although, if my memory serves me correct, I do remember back in my old house, I did have an invite a female friend over, and I convinced her to play RE4. Ah, that was funny. That was funny. Luckily, that wasn't the last time I saw her, but still, that's a funny memory. Making a teenage girl play Resident Evil 4 never gets old.
Yeah, that's true.
And Okay, but going back to topic on the remake. So one thing I think they might change, they could possibly change if they remake this game
Hmm.
is they could throw away like the pretty much the cheesy dialogue. Like that's the entire RE4 English script.
Yeah.
I don't know. If they get rid of that, I mean, it just there's a reason why Jill Sandwich is famous. And
You
if
could have been a Jill sandwich.
or the fact that there's codec calls in the game, but it doesn't make any sense because they're using walkie-talkies.
I mean, hey, uh, walkie talkie.
and
I got nothing.
and not once when Leon's talking with anyone over that walkie-talkie, not once
Hmm.
is he actually um maybe for one moment, 2 moments there near the end, not once is he actually like being being serious. He's on full like Spider-Man mode. He's got a like a quip every time, especially as he's talking with Salazar. And of course, they're just the most cheesiest lines you can ever think of. Let's see if I can find some. Oh my gosh. Resident Evil 4 Leon dialogue. Cause I did cringe in some I did cringe in some scenes. Let's see. That's two. That's two. Give me four. Here we go. Here's four. Uh, okay, here's one. Here's one. So right after, um, I believe this is when you're finally into that first village, and the cutscene plays where you enter one of the buildings, showcasing
Hmm.
like they're coming from the windows.
Yeah.
Oh no 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 no! I'm stupid. No 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 no! It was during the car ride with the policia, and and I think they ask him like, "So what are you American doing here?" And he responds, "Guess that's a local's way of breaking the ice." Anyway, you know what this is all about? My assignment's to search the president's missing daughter. Like that. That's one of the more basic ones. But then it just keeps
Hmm.
getting ridiculous, 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 ridiculous. Like then, let's see. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, here we go. Here's a stupid one. Right after Sadler unveils his evil plan, Leon responds, "Sounds more like an alien invasion if you ask me." Or, let's see. Or it is one of, or, ooh. Here's one. I forgot I don't know if he's talking with Ashley or Ada, but he says, "Sorry, but following a lady's lead just isn't my style."
Damn.
Ooh, there's a Me Too story in there somewhere. And I thought no, definitely no more cheesy lines, but they're for some reason they're quoting like every single thing he ever said here. But whatever. Huh, I don't remember him saying hasta. Oh, speaking of the Spanish, I got in a conversation with
Hmm.
my dad about when I talked to him about this, and I know his memories now. We both technically the game takes place in Europe, but never specifies where in Europe. But with the Spanish, we assume Spain.
Yeah.
And I always find it funny how if you really listen to that Spanish, it's clearly like not even Spain Spanish, just like it's Latin Spanish.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
And I keep trying to tell my dad, it's like, no, like, yeah, they say it in Spanish, but it's not the right dialect. He doesn't believe me. And I think, yeah, and actually, Ever told you he like 100% that game?
Really?
Oh yeah, this was many years. It was many years ago when he was still a kid. Like every blue moon play a game, and he got wanted to play it because he played all of Resident Evil Revelations on the 3DS, and he
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed it. And he remembered that I also have a Resident Evil 4 on the Wii, so he wanted
Mm-hmm.
to play it. So I brought an old Wii. I set it up in his room where he just played it on his bed. Like remember how the nunchuck Wii remote setup is like?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine like holding like that, laying in bed, looking at like a small TV that's the size about your monitor. And initially, because he was so used to Revelations kind of control schemes, he was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, why I can't shoot while I'm moving? I have to keep pausing to do everything. He he complained about something like, just give it a chance, Dad, just give it a chance. And eventually, a week or two later, I saw him playing again, and he already got the infinite rocket launcher.
Ah.
And he's got the infinite Tommy gun and the armor for Ashley. So yeah, since he's a much older, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I think to me that kind of not proves, but it does help show that hey, that the control schemes that was established in RE4, you can update into modern controllers if you like, but what they have right now is already good on its own. That there's really no need to.
Yeah.
If an old man in close to his 40s can figure it out, I'm pretty sure. Well, you know what? No, I'm giving game journalists too much credit.
Yeah, they couldn't do anything with freaking Cuphead, even though it told them how to play the game.
or when I forget I think it was Kotaku or that one Kotaku video of the guy playing Doom, missing every single shot.
Uh,
Oh, that was lovely. But now I do know that actually, let me ask you personally, Jack. Did you ever find annoying annoying when you had to protect Ashley?
yes, very much so.
I mean,
Like,
yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. It was like it's like having a dog. It was like literally having a dog around. Just wait here, hide in here, and then you go do what you gotta do.
wait, hide.
Get down. I do find it funny. Just aim the gun at her. She automatically ducks. I do that. Find a bit of clever programming.
Love her, girl.
She's anything but clever. Don't give her too much credit. Uh, but the same. So I guess because I do know anytime I see people talking about RE4, they always talk about Ashley. And despite how annoying it should be, would you how would you improve the function of Ashley besides just being just one giant escort mission? Like how would you improve
mm,
her?
let's see. I mean, a good way would probably be to improve the AI somewhat. That's my opinion.
I think it only happened to me a few times where she really need to get out of the way and she just wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I think that people kind of overplay that. But then it's been a long time since I played RE4, so
Mhm.
that could be a legitimate grievance. Would you now? What about the solo Ashley missions?
I don't really remember too much about the solo Ashley missions. I don't know. I just can't remember them.
Honestly, I would just kind of just get rid of them. All the R is just excuses. All the R really is just you gotta dodge one enemy type, being those monks, and
Mm-hmm.
solve puzzles, and that's about it. You know, it's playing. It's like playing pseudo Outlast, but not really.
Yeah.
Well, no, you can't fight back. You just gotta just throw those lanterns. Yeah, Leon, Leon.
Or just equipped on the just to be cheesy, just equip on that knight's armor for her.
Oh, then you really don't. Then you really don't have to like struggle playing that game. Then, when you
Yep.
put the knight's armor on her.
Too heavy to pick her up.
uh, actually, now I'm wondering, because I do know. Actually, no, no. I don't know. When did they? Was the bonus Ada missions always in the original game?
I don't remember. I feel like no, because I don't remember my brother playing that.
Let's see.
I'm not sure.
You know, to look at it because I know it was definitely on the Wii version, but I don't know if that was something just added in for that particular one. Then they added in just for
Mm,
future games.
who knows?
Not the guide. Not walkthroughs. God dang it. Here we go. That's what I need. Key gameplay. I actually did play her missions. They were fine. Just fine side stories. Nothing really. Okay. So they were in the original. So they were in the original game. I'm guessing you just have to so play the games a lot of times to unlock them, or do
Mm,
something to unlock them. Okay. In any case, you know what's something Resident Evil 4 really done really well? The
what?
feeling of reloading. It felt so good to reload, especially on certain guns.
I mean, I feel like that's only true for some guns, not every gun. I mean, like, yeah, it's just only for me. It's only some guns. I guess I'm just too desensitized on the whole on reloading animations. Unless if it was something like the bolt action.
Or the Mauser.
Yeah.
I, oh, now you got me thinking.
Now, did you get
Mm-hmm.
the the costume for Leon? The I forgot what was it called right now.
The mafioso costume.
Yes.
Ah,
And did you manage to make him pose?
no, no, no. No,
Damn.
no, my dad did though. My dad did, but I don't know anything about. I don't think he doesn't know anything about posing though.
You don't have you seen the pose that he does?
Wait, when you pause in the menus when you go to the menu screen.
Yeah, like I know mafioso Leon does a pose.
Uh, actually, I don't think I was even aware. Hold on, let
Here,
me take a look.
let me put it right here. I have the video right. I'm surprised you weren't aware of it.
I just thought it was just simple, like like a skin. I don't think they'll do anything extra with it. Hold on, let me choose something real quick. There we go. Let's take a look. That's a lot of money.
Yep, he's flexing.
Uh,
Wait, it gets better. Man, those 2008 frames right there.
Yep. Just readjusting his hat.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what? You know what?
Oh wait, no, no. There's another part. Yeah. There's another part. It just happens every once in a while. That's why he's doing it all over and over again.
Oh wait. Okay. Okay. Calm down there, Come down there, Michael. I was actually gonna comment like I could just imagine this someone taking this model of Leon
Hmm.
and just making him dance the smooth criminal, and that last pose just confirms it.
Pretty much.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
But
Still,
yeah, I'm surprised you weren't aware of the pose that you could do with him.
I'm terrible when it comes to to games in which you get more by you get to do more by replaying it. I'm terrible of like once I like beat the game the first time, I am less inclined to replay it unless it was just something completely amazing that I gotta replay.
See, and that is why single player games are dying.
Well, people barely finish single player games to begin with.
That too. But at
Yeah.
the same time, like all the, I think the problem when it comes, like this is just gonna be a small rant, but like the thing is that no, the 1990s to 2000s they had more range of story because, well, not many 3D or game like not many story based games were out there that much. At least in my opinion, that were, yeah, like the Nintendo 64 all the way forward. They started off with the whole single player campaigns and story modes, and that were not text based, were like point and click. After a while, those old franchises, like for example, Gears of War, Halo, Banjo Kazooie, some of these games that had stories ended up flopping after a while. And after that, there are so many people trying to copy these as successful games before then that it kind of story mode stale, where there is no interesting plot line.
Hmm.
At least that's what I think.
Well, as we're talking about this a little bit. In that era, from the 90s to 2000s, that's like two generations worth of games. You got the 16-bit era with the Genesis and the Super Nintendo, and you got the 32 to 64-bit consoles with
Hmm.
PlayStation, Dreamcast, N64, and whatnot. And you also got the arcades, which were still relevant back then.
Hmm.
Definitely during that time, that's when games started to actually become enhancing the single player because
Hmm.
number one, multiplayer games, most people if you go to the arcade for that,
Hmm.
you know, multiplayer games unless it was something connected to a big franchise or series, like fighting games during that time or like a Mario Kart or whatnot, which came later on during the late 90s.
Hmm.
Now people buy games for the games you couldn't get in arcades for the most part.
Hmm.
And as far as early as the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, where you can already get like these like long RPGs during
Hmm.
that era. And with PS1 and N64, with N64, they got their market of the younger audience with a lot of the platform games like Banjo and Mario 64 and
Hmm.
Ocarina of Time. But PlayStation had the older audience because it was giving games like Metal Gear Solid, What else? Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9. Well, actually, a whole litany of Square RPGs. A whole litany of them. Try to think of anything else come to mind. Blanking out because there's also a lot of shovelware on the PS1. It was the Wii of its time. It was the one console everyone made games for, and because of that, there's a lot more crap on the PS1 than the N64.
Yeah, I mean, I, I always loved playing the PS1. It was pretty fun. That's how I was introduced to Worms.
I, I've only played the PS1 for a short period of time, but as we get to the 2000s, I, as we get to the 2000s, it's funny that you mentioned Halo is because Halo is one of the it was one of the big games that really made online gaming a thing,
Yeah,
especially for
yeah, but at the same time,
especially for console.
well, I would say it's either that one or Call of Duty. I'm talking about the campaign and the story mode. Like those were fun until later on, where Halo 4 started, where they started trying to milk more of the franchise itself by just the name.
Right.
You could kind of start seeing the lackluster in the story mode, where people are more and more less inclined to actually play the story mode.
Yeah, and actually for a while that was actually Resident Evil. I mean, remember Resident Evil 6 and 5?
Hmm.
And 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 that's another thing that comes to mind. Eventually, God of War fell into this hole.
Yeah, like that's the reason why I think that's partially a reason why I think story modes were dying.
Uh, Although I would argue though that the reason the quality during that seventh generation of gaming
Hmm.
was because a lot of the original teams or developers of these games, you know, by like game 3 or game 2, they would have they left, and so those series were left to other developers.
Hmm.
The biggest case evident is obviously for you would be Halo, but the biggest one for me would be Dead Space.
Oh my god, don't remind me.
Yeah,
It see, okay, I'm gonna everyone knows everyone hates EA. But this is something where I find it very disgusting. Everyone that has researched EA knows that this is the disgusting part about EA itself. All they do is whenever they see a franchise or whenever they see a game come out, they'll buy the studio, keep telling them, "Hey, make more of these games, but we want you to make them at our time," which most of the times that means rushed. And whenever every sequential game comes out, most likely gets worse and worse. They're like, all right, we're done with you. You're gone. That's what happened to Visceral Games. Pretty much, they were bought by EA. You could see that their quality was going down significantly at Dead Space 3. And then from there, they pretty much said, all right, you're done. We're shutting you down. You didn't make enough money. And like 1 and 2 were very good. I love both. But it's just the way how EA does their practice with it. It just makes it very, very bad.
and that's why they won Worst Company in America a few years in a row.
Yeah,
I think the only company worse than them, or just as bad, would probably have to be probably Sony or Activision.
I think it was it was Activision Blizzard.
That yeah, but yeah, and
Remember, they're both together now.
I also put in Sony too, since since they have canceled a lot of games and then they have released. And unfortunately, some of
True.
these cancellations have made like game studios go under. Especially one that hits me the most was Factor 5. You know who Factor 5 is?
No.
So back in the early 2000s, Factor 5 were were known for the Star Wars Rebel games, Star Wars I'm sorry, the Star Wars Rogue Squadron games, where you
Mhm.
get to where you get to do these. They're not arcade like um, not sins, but you get to actually fly the ships of of Star Wars in arcade
Mhm.
like fashion, kind of similar to Star Fox, kind of similar.
Mhm.
Although you got a lot more freedom of movement, and it's not on rails. And they had one for the N64, and they had two games for the GameCube, which I played both of them, and they were pretty awesome, especially for the time. And then by the time PS3 was coming out, they had struck a deal with Sony to make an exclusive game for them,
Mhm.
and it was called I believe it was called Lair, spelled Lair. Believe
Mhm.
believe that's what it was. Let me double check. Yeah, Lair. It was going to be where very similar. Players will fly doing where you get to pilot something. In this case, you're going to actually pilot a dragon.
Ooh.
And the game came out, and it was a launch title for the PS3.
Mhm.
And let's see, let me see if I can find it. Reading the wiki here. During development, Lair gained attention due to its graphical presentation and developer Factory 5's reputation. However, upon release, it was seen as a critical and commercial failure, receiving mixed reviews. And Sony, I tried to criticize game loss by mailing review sites like no, following negative to the games, yeah, that's not something to worry about. So, yeah. So they read this game, and because they're dealing with new tech and probably whatever strict schedule Sony gave them, I think
Mhm.
the game flopped, and then they had to close down their studios forever.
Damn.
All because they thought that the PS3 was going to be the next big success, which in hindsight, wasn't. I still remember those three. I still remember all those 360 kids making fun of people who have a PS3.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, that was pretty much like the worst thing you would pick. Like, why pick the PS3?
Yeah, that Xbox brand loyalty was strong in the mid 2000s to like
Oh yeah.
all the way until the Xbox One.
Yeah. The thing is, because the Xbox One was now heading towards not not even game related, like not even a family game related, like how Nintendo would, well, because that's their Nintendo's usual approach.
Yeah, it was.
Theirs was like Xbox's whole thing with the Xbox One was home entertainment.
Yeah, I remember. It was all about TV,
TV, TV, TV,
TV,
4K, 4K,
Work-
TV, 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 4K.
TV, infinite power of the cloud. I still remember that line.
I remember the whole compilation of just someone cutting up the E3 is like Xbox E3 in a nutshell. TV, 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 4K, 4K, TV, Forza, Forza, TV,
And maybe one Halo. No, I don't think there was a
and
Halo.
one Halo.
But going back on topic. Going back on topic. Um, so I think I, I don't think there's much we can say about Resident Evil 4 besides that remake. I tweeted this pretty much. If Capcom's gonna go ahead and do this, potentially um if they're gonna potentially do what could be their biggest mistake,
Hmm.
then the remake has to improve every single aspect of the original game. It's
Yeah.
and as well, much like with RE2, which like the previous remakes, has to be. oh, has to be something where it can stand on its own, and it can stand on its own and side by side with the original, much like original RE1 and 2 to their respective remakes.
Hmm.
But knowing Capcom, I mean, Capcom has been doing really good in terms of games, but it just takes one bad game and they're fine, and they're, well, there it goes, now downhill.
Well, they couldn't be as bad as Konami when they definitely did give a fresh coat of paint to Metal Gear.
But you're telling me you didn't want to play as a zombie game with a Metal Gear skin?
And like I'm telling you, I don't want to play my zombie game in a pachinko machine.
You know, sure you don't want to see all those newly rendered in HD cutscenes of Metal Gear Solid 3 on a pachinko machine?
That's like the most disappointing thing.
Hmm. And speaking of deployments, and as said in the title, I also want to go down memory lane of other terrible decisions Capcom has made over their tenure as a video game company. Most of the more recent stuff. And so earlier today, I
Hmm.
was digging through, going through every single thing of like mistakes, moments that I can remember
Hmm.
from Capcom, and I found like a potential of at least, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, at least like 15 things I found that they somehow or some way anger their customers.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna start with one that's probably like part of the least one. Remember the game Asura's Wrath?
I forgot about that.
Right, right. A lot of people did, but remember, but it's like the most anime games of anime, even more than actual anime games.
Yeah.
And one thing that they did was at, in which I think no, nothing. So they made the main game. There are people who like it. I think it received much more positively in Japan than over here.
Hmm.
But then Capcom then released new DLC, and within this new DLC, you can get the real ending of the game.
That's dumb.
Yeah, so if you really wanted to, get the full story of Sora's Wrath, you have to pay extra money for DLC, which was a shame because I think there was another DLC tied to it, in which as a Sora you can fight against Ryu and Akuma. Well, that was pretty cool, especially that Akuma fight. I was like, you should check that out, Jack. It's actually pretty cool. But but yeah, still a little crappy. Having to pay money just so you can see the ending of a game. I mean,
It
I mean,
like it reminds me of how Halo 4 did it, where they're like they to see the true ending of Halo 4, you had to buy a comic that pretty much told you what happened at the end after the events that took place in the last mission of Halo 4. You had to pretty much it just explain that the big boss, the big evil guy in Halo 4 did not with a grenade into his stomach. He was very much alive, and Master Chief literally drew a piece of the ring onto the guy to kill him in the comic. But it's so stupid. That's why in Halo 5, you're like, wait, but where we're going with this story? What
well,
happened to the other guy? I thought
well,
he was alive.
well, you would have known it was about the comic. I guess you're not a true Halo fan, Jack.
Like that's the thing. Like at least, I mean, I still don't like it, but at least Azura's Wrath kept it in the game, even though it's still crappy what they did. This was like literally going from one type of like one thing to another completely different media.
Yep. and and it gets going on. Now we're growing much older here. We're growing much older. So one thing I've seen a lot of Capcom fans be baffled by, and I'm baffled by this, that as many characters Capcom has,
Hmm.
there has never been an actual there hasn't been, and I quote, an actual good Capcom crossover fighting game.
Hmm.
You would think they've already done it by now, and they did. It was called Capcom Fighting Evolution,
Hmm.
and it is a Frankenstein of a fighting game. You want to know why?
Why?
Because all they did for this game was released in 2004 was they all they did was just get different assets from every different version of Street Fighter or any other um, game that they had at that time and smush them all together, and there you go.
Nice.
So so because they're like this. You got Ryu, who plays like how he is in Capcom versus SNK, and then
Hmm.
you got Guy, who plays like he's from Street Fighter Alpha 3. Then you mix in the Darkstalker characters, and then you mix in Chun Li, who plays like she's from Street Fighter 3.
Hmm.
So you got all these different assets just kind of mushed up together, and boom, they got a game. And what was the weirder part? I was like, looking at the roster. It's
Hmm.
the most ridiculous roster I've ever seen. They they're separated by characters from each of the different games.
Hmm.
So to represent Street Fighter 2, they've only got Ryu, Guile, and Bison and Zangief.
Hmm.
For Darkstalkers, surprisingly, they don't have Morgan, but Anarchus, the Mummy Guy, Dimitri, the Vampire, Felicia, Catgirl, and Jetta, like it's like a
Hmm.
devil. Then from Alpha, Guy, Karen, Rose, and Sakura. Some characters from a game called Red Earth, I'm not too familiar with. And then you got characters to represent Street Fighter 3, being Alex, Chun Li, Urien, and Yun. And then
Hmm.
you got Ingrid as the only original character. So that's what? Let's me count 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So for a big crossover game, they only use like 21 characters.
That's pretty small.
Yeah, and characters that they literally own, and they can. Just, oh my god, this. Oh,
I mean, it's better than what my dad gave me one day when I had my Xbox 360. You know what he gave me?
they gave you.
At this time, he used to go a lot to flea markets. And this is what he bought me, and he's like, "Hey, here's a game for you." He gave me. I don't remember exactly the game's name, but it's like Burger King.
Please tell me it's Sneak King.
No, it was like some kind of Burger King thing where it's like carts, but it's not bumper cars. Burger King bumper cars.
Oh my god. He probably paid a penny for that.
He paid probably like $1 for that, and I'm just like, yay,
Gracias.
great,
Gracias, papa. I always wanted to be the Burger King guy.
yeah. It had 4 achievements in there.
uh,
I, I
try-
didn't get any of them because I didn't want to play it. Oh, you want some multiplayer with that? Good luck trying to find someone playing Burger King bumper cars.
or that's what also reminds me of a game that Okay, I actually got an opposite story because I also got a licensed game to a movie, but I actually ended up playing it a lot. Remember the movie Surfs Up? Those surfing penguins?
Oh yeah,
They actually had a decent game on the Wii because all
yeah,
it was just a surfing game.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, how is this game actually like fun to play with decent like music?
Well,
Uh,
if they actually put love into it, then they can make any like media into a good game.
I know, but just like of all things, Surfs Up. who even remembers that movie?
I wonder if Wendy's has a game. I'm gonna look it up.
They're gonna need to now that KFC have one. But going back to Capcom, so another thing that terrible decision. So and back in 2013, Capcom released Darkstalkers Resurrection as
Hmm.
a re-release of the first and third Darkstalkers game on PSN and Xbox Live. And and this game got the full treatment of upgrading visuals, having online, and a whole bunch of other stuff. They got the full like, not just like, oh, we're gonna just not
What
post,
the
we're
hell?
just gonna port it. Like, no, they were gonna make it specifically for these consoles. And unfortunately, even though it got a lot of great critical reception, just like we were talking about with EA, it didn't
Hmm.
make enough money. So that told Capcom no one wants Darkstalkers,
Hmm.
which oh, it angers me. And apparent I'm guess and from what I've read from different sources, it sold well for a digital game. From what I understand. So Capcom must have had really high expectations.
So newsflash.
Hmm.
Wendy's did have a game, not a video game. It is a D&D style, like the tabletop,
Oh, a tabletop game.
like actual D&D style, where you get your characters, you make them up, you have a dungeon master, all that good
Was the dungeon master the store manager?
stuff. Well, like I have no idea how exactly it works. I just kind of skimmed, noticed that it's in D&D style game.
Well, Wendy's better stream it on their Twitch channel now.
Totally.
They should.
Let me see
Oh,
if they're on.
so next on the list. This was now this one I cannot blame Capcom because it was out of their control. But the fact that you can no longer on PSG or 360 you can no longer purchase Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or Marvel vs. Capcom Origins, which included Marvel superheroes and the original Marvel vs. Capcom,
Hmm.
because the Disney license finished, and at that time Disney was trying to be like, we can make our own games, and that worked out okay in the beginning, but that
Hmm.
but they were real, but Disney was really remember those Disney Infinity.
Yes, I forgot about those. But
Yeah,
yeah,
they were banking on that being the next guy. Oh my god, remember Skylanders?
yeah. I'm still kind of surprised that they did so well, even though they butchered House.
Yeah. So Disney was wanting that Skylanders money. It didn't end up happening, and because of that, um, all these great Marvel vs. Capcom games or these Marvel fighting games from the '90s, you be- well better find good emulators, or hopefully you've already bought them when they were out, because if there's one con about digital, as much convenient as it is, unless you have it downloaded into your
Hello.
hard drive, those games are not going to be there forever.
Ooh, ooh, that was some bad lag. Sorry about that.
So, but that one's out of Capcom hand, but still, it's just crappy. Speaking of crappy, remember when they rebooted Devil May Cry?
I don't because that's not a series I actually played.
Well, what was a series? It's a series. What was a series I played? DNC Devil May Cry. The black hair Dante is when they got an actually a Western team to make a Devil May Cry game, and pretty much take all the intricate combat that was so versatile and very experimental, that and as well very difficult, that was so
Hmm.
rewarding to play about 1 and 3 and 4, not really 2. Take all that and casualize it to the extreme.
Oof.
Yep. And as well as like every aspect of like Dante's characterization. He went from like a badass who on further inspection might have had depression, maybe.
Most likely.
And he went to essential and he went to basically being a oh my a try hard punk Sasuke type. Kind of. Like
Sasuke.
he was still he was like still goofy, but he wasn't as goofy. It wasn't that fun type of goofy.
Mhm.
And as well, he was like very try hard with like the amount of f bombs he'll put in and his cursing. And I kid you not, the original Devil May Cry, it's all about like literal demons invading the earth. We gotta stop them, Doom style.
Mhm.
DMC, I guess it's yeah, it's demons, but society, Jack, society, Jack, consumerism,
Live innocent.
the corporate media, Jack. That's what I needed in my Devil May Cry game. The the mainstream media and consumerism. So and because of that, it was a very very negative to lukewarm reception to the game. The game itself, on its own merit, is decent. Nothing to be right home about. Eventually, they re-released it where they fix a lot of the where they fix some major issues in the original game, such as what is not such as in the original game, you had enemies that can only be killed with certain weapons. And there's two types, angel and demons. So you're constantly having to switch between angel and demon weapons, and that was not fun.
Mm.
So and in the definitive edition, they fixed that, and much like the other Devil May Cry games, they finally put it at 60 frames per second because the original was at 30.
Ooh.
Yeah, and even on the PC too, it was like locked in at 30.
I'm pretty sure there's some mods that made it.
Oh yeah, but still though, like for the first four games of the series, they have it at that, and then for the next game, yeah, just you don't need those extra 30 frames. Who needs them in a very quick based action game? So and there was also a scene there in that game in which a white wig falls on this new Dante.
I remember that scene. I remember it just because it blew up the internet. Not
Yeah.
in a million years.
Oh man, I don't know what were they thinking with that. I have no idea. Like it's one thing. Let's starting over. It's one thing to put that disrespect in. That's just ugh.
Oh yeah, they punishment was rained down on them from the fans.
And it was so bad that well, Devil May Cry 5 happened. So see, good things happen when you listen to your fans.
Good things happen when you.
Speaking of listening to fans,
Mhm.
so Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Now, I know you
Okay.
didn't play it much, but there was some controversy around it, and as well some odd things. Number one being that first original game was was unashamedly unbalanced, and all because of one character. All because of one character. Freaking and of all characters, it was Jean Grey. Uh, she made pretty much every team had her because the X Factor mechanic.
No.
So pretty much, the mechanic X Factor is you can activate it at any point in the game, and it's a big boost. It's a big boost play to your damage, and
Mhm.
depending on which characters you have, it's a major boost. And for Phoenix, she besides being able to use X Factor, she also had a super in which she can boost herself up. So activate the super, then turn on X Factor, you can literally kill your enemy within like 3 or 4 hits.
Keep thinking every time you say X Factor, just keep thinking that one of them is gonna break out into a song, and then the judges will come out of nowhere and they're gonna see if they like it or not.
I for-
That was terrible. K.O.
oh, Jag, I've been so into comics, I forgot X Factor wasn't just a mechanic, a comic book, but an actual TV show. When this old dude made comics, I forgot that's a TV show. Okay, so
Simon Cowell with the horrible
horrible display,
knockout.
horrible display. So there's that. So that was one of the big things that made the original game unbalanced. But and so an update was released, and the update came in. What want to know? Okay, so here it is. The
Mm-hmm.
original game came out in the United States in February 15th, 2011. You want to know
Mm-hmm.
when the Ultimate vs. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 came in?
When?
November 15th, 2011.
Nah.
And so you pay $60 for the first game, and then it gets updated with new characters and fixing all the issues with the original game,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to pay $40 more.
Nice.
And there's also that, and as fact, and even in this version of the game, at least back when it was on PS3 and 360, you
Mm-hmm.
still had to pay money for buying two bonus DLC characters.
Ugh.
Yeah, even though Ultimate Marvel 3 was supposed to be, where it had everything, but you still have to pay DLC for two characters.
That's egregious during those times.
hmm And quite honestly, Capcom, they had the means to update the game, like I was just like you were patching it.
Mm.
This was the 360 era. Might have it was the 360 era. It could have been done. Nope, they got greedy. They got greedy.
And of course they did.
Yeah, at least Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was a fun game. But since we're still talking about that, Infinite.
Yay.
Uh, this game makes me sad. Oh, it makes me so sad, Jack.
Hack is the big sad right now.
I'm sad. I'm a sad boy. Ugh. And now Jack's playing Battlefield 4. How dare you? How dare you play video games while I'm suffering? Okay. So, so this one, I encourage people to look it up because there's a lot that went down on what happened to this game. There's plenty of YouTube videos about it. I recommend doing that because I would not do it justice.
There are so many game breaking things that they had to patch out so quickly. Like really hot.
And you want to know what's the oddest thing about this game?
What?
This game has better online than Street Fighter 5.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. That people were complaining, like people from the Street Fighter 5 community were complaining about that.
That is so of all games, of all games. This, in any case, I mean, like it's a a boring character roster, terrible visuals. Unless you're Mega Man, then you look awesome. Very limited DLC characters and just a whole stuff that went behind the scenes, both from with Disney and with Capcom, is just. Everyone wanted their Marvel's Capcom 4. Well, they got it. They got it. They certainly did get it. And I don't think Disney's gonna be interested in being like, yeah, sure, let's make another one, especially when this one didn't do too well in terms of sales.
Hmm.
So now we're gonna step away from Marvel vs. Capcom. So there's another one. This one doesn't affect me personally, but I remember the the cry when this news came out. Remember? Do you recall the Mega Man Legends games, the 3D Mega Man games?
Not really. Again, I don't really like most of the Capcom stuff. I did not really care for.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not big into Legends myself. I'm onto the other Mega Man series. However, I do recall back in like 2010, 2011 that there was gonna be a third Mega Man Legends game, and it was going to
Hmm.
be for the 3DS, and it was going to be developed by Inafune, who did not create Mega Man, he made it to what it is today. And all of a sudden, like around summer 2011, it
Hmm.
was canceled. And and keep in mind at this point, the only major Mega Man game was like a downloadable title for WiiWare, which was Mega Man 10, which I believe came out a year before.
Hmm.
Aside from that and Mega Man 9, there was no major Mega Man games for years. Everything in the early 2000s, a lot of it was went to handhelds. So we got the Battle Network games, the Mega Man Zero games, the Star Force, all of that. But console Mega Man games, it's been a long time. And so with Mega Man Legends, it was even longer since I believe the second game like was out in like during the 90s or early 2000s for the PS1 or 2, I'm going to say. So they've been waiting a long time, and then it gets canceled. I believe due to the fact that there was as far as Capcom has seen it, there wasn't enough demand for it to fund the project. And and this is during the time when Capcom were really trying to get that Western audience. So a lot of their franchises that they were known for at the time, they were actually kind of forsaking them, trying to make new IP that had a more universal appeal,
Hmm.
you know. And I mean, because of that, Legend Street got kicked the can, and because of this, funny enough, because of this cancellation,
Hmm.
it was a chain effect because soon after, Inifune left the company, and do you, do you know what he ended up do you know what he ended up doing right after he left Capcom?
What?
He started the Kickstarter for Mighty Number 9.
Uh, uh,
So, yeah. Mega Man Legends 3 inadvertently gave us Mighty Number 9. I don't know how to feel about that one. What a waste. What a waste. What a waste. And to tie it back to the main to what we were talking about before, Resident Evil, I liked it 6. If every time I see someone play Resident Evil 6, they always play Leon's campaign. They don't bother with Chris's or Wesker's son. They never bother with those. It's always Leon, and then that's it. They're done playing the game.
ah.
Which is funny because from what I've seen, like take away the Resident Evil name, and it would have been a decent third-person shooter. If you just called it, um, they call it Fight for Death, Zombie Gun, whatever. Making it new something new, it would have actually probably been a successful game because game going strictly by gameplay, it was actually pretty good.
Hmm.
Good thing,
Well,
good thing you weren't
yeah.
forced to do co-op like 5.
That was funny with five, especially how in some moments they didn't think about certain situations. Because I remember this. This was during when I think when I did not have the game for Resident Evil Five, but it was like I don't remember what was the situation. I think I got it after I got the demo, but pretty much the funny thing what happened is that I played the demo. In the demo, you were able to co-op with someone online. and it's only on the first mission. So it's like where you meet the crowd of people, kind of the crowd of people in Africa, just like doing some protest, and then they turn into zombies. You get stuck inside this building with your team, and you're supposed to, at least if you wanted to, you could have easily barricaded the doors and then like shoot people while you're in there, so you can slowly kill them off. But no, what ended up happening is that I was going to go ahead and close the doors. I was going to barricade them. I didn't realize that my teammate was outside of the. So he was outside of the barricade. I finished barricading. He went up to the could not take it down because I guess they never thought of that. So all I saw was him getting murderized by a mob of zombies, and he just like quits right there and then.
uh, oh,
It was
if
hilarious.
that's not a heroic move, I don't know what is.
Like I didn't even notice that this happened.
How do you know you were there, bro? You should have said something.
For real.
So, and the last thing, want to go one of Capcom's many poorly made decisions. It's one that you could actually chime in on. The last one to
Hmm.
mention, I saved the best for last. Street Fighter Five.
Uh, yeah. So what about it?
Where to begin with this one?
Pretty much.
Okay, okay. Let's start with the launch. Let's start with the
Hmm.
launch. Recall, Jack. What were the only things you could do when the game launched back in February of 2016?
Mm. Oh wait, on launch day,
Yeah.
nothing.
Well, to be more accurate, you're kind of right though. You can do local verses.
Hmm.
You can do little stories,
Yes.
online, casual, and ranked.
Nope, you're wrong.
You're right. It wasn't working.
Exactly. That's why I said nothing.
And you can do trials. That was it. And then
Yeah.
eventually, when they finally get the online working, then you could do online rank and casual.
Yeah. See that's why I said you could do nothing because most of the part people don't want to play the game for whatever weird story it had.
And
They wanted
so,
to play for online.
yep, and they were having online issues for a good while, maybe a month or so. And even to this day, the online's still not great. I still remember moments where I'll be playing, and all of a sudden, the game would literally skip ahead to where my opponent were at the point of the match is I'm supposed to actually be in, and because of that, and it's like I'm like time traveling in the game.
Zawardo.
and so, and so you got that. Guys, you don't even have a bare bones fighting game. You have a skeleton of a fighting game, but that skeleton is missing his right arm,
And the left arm.
and yeah, it's missing both arms. So it's there, but you can't really do anything. You can't carry. You can't do nothing. And then, oh, when did they? Okay, and so then begins Capcom's journey. There's journey to like fix this game to make it good because they had to release it early just so for all that turn for the I believe the Capcom Pro Tour or for Evo. I
Hmm.
forget which big tournament, but they released it early just so that there could be a big competitive tournament. It could be played competitively, and let's see, and then about four no like no 5 months later, they then did a big update where they finally added a story mode, a Shadow Falls, like the only story mode they have. I legit thought they're gonna do a thing where they would add like new story every big update or something. I'm wrong on that. But yeah, that was made and I played it.
I
Is
thought
hmm
when the game came out, I thought, or at least the story mode, I thought there was going to be this big plot over that they had to start fighting off some weird warrior from the past, Nikali.
Oh yeah. And then when you actually play the story mode, you realize how unimportant Nikali is.
Like, why even put
I don't know. I don't know. Now there's cool moments. I can admit that there's cool moments in the story mode. You know, it was cool to see Ryu overcome the Dark Hado, and and I like that Rashid had a bigger involvement in the story.
what I didn't like is the fact that uh the story mode was too easy.
Did you play it on hard?
Even on that, it was too
Did you
easy.
play it on the other? No, I'm kidding. No. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know you unlock like extra hard or whatever it's called, but like
Hmm.
that's stupid. And the fact that they only had one rounds. What was that?
It's supposed to be canon. The canon rounds. They don't wait up like canonically. They don't wait for the other person to get up for the second round.
I guess. I do appreciate the fact um that unlike Mortal Kombat in which you're a certain character for a particular time until the next chapter starts. You
Hmm.
know, they flow through how the story is, and instead of focusing on one particular character for a good portion of the story, you jump around. One minute you're Ryu, next minute you're M Bison, next minute you're Balrog. You know, I
Yeah.
like that. And also, there's supposed to be this whole subplot of how Cammy's now a fugitive and how she has to run away from the law. Or at least that's what jury says, and they don't really follow up on that.
Yeah.
I do like though how in that how like all the world warriors they finally come to get on the Ben Bison's base. I do like that moment where Zangief breaks a sword by just flexing his muscles.
I mean,
I still think that's pretty cool. Like I'm like god dang.
I mean, it's what else can you say?
It's better than Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
I mean, yeah.
But then that's not saying much. You know what? I'll say this to give it credit. Gun to my head. I would rather replay Street Fighter V story mode than MK11's.
Hmm.
No joke. I would rather do that.
Same.
So as things are progressing, eventually by Arcade Edition, we finally which is a year later, like over a year later, we finally get something semblance of an actual game.
Hmm.
And the and by this point, like 2 seasons worth of characters are released. The roster is expanded tremendously.
I still
Uh,
hate the fact that you had to buy the characters or win 1,000 games. Not
oh yeah,
play 1,000 games, win 1,000 games.
the fight money thing. Oh god, I was so hoping that the fight money thing would be worth it. It wasn't.
Like if it was something like play 1,000 games, that'll be fine. But literally, it's you have to win them. Sure, they have their stupid little how would you say missions that you can do, but it
They give you so little. It's like they give you so little that you feel like you just have to use real
hmm
money to get the new characters.
hmm
Ugh. and by the end of all this, with Champion Edition already out, which I still have yet to get. I do want to get a PC. Just the fact that I finally get all like 5,000 Chun Li costumes. She has so many costumes. God dang. Um, I hope Capcom learns from this when Street Fighter 6 eventually comes out. I
I
honestly hope
mean,
they do.
it's gonna take a while. They still need some more. They still need to put in some more names to that Street Fighter Five.
Worse, hey, Street Fighter 6 comes out. You know what I would want right there in the cover? You know what I would want right next to Ryu?
Danny Beaky.
Yes, and I would like to have El Fuerte back. I want my Luchador back.
I want Rufus. Just Rufus.
Little tangent. How would you advance Rufus's story? Does
Uh,
he lose weight?
yeah, let's make him lose weight.
Okay, okay. Because I said all I said
Make
about
him
Street Fighter
ripped,
5.
like ripped, really ripped.
Okay, he's really ripped. Does he still have the dumb little braid thing?
Yes,
Okay. Now,
and his
okay.
goatee is bigger.
Now what would still keep it funny though? Because he has to be a comedic character. Like what's it? Because in Street Fighter 4, his whole thing was that he really wanted to fight again. He talked too much, and he learned everything from watching kung fu movies. So what's his thing now?
I mean, you can't really change a thing when it's already cemented.
Well, what can we? How can we grow him, but not make him a serious character?
Uh, by let's see.
Yeah. What's Rufus? Because Dan has an arc. He went from "I will revenge my father" to "Revenge is bad." So what's Rufus' arc's gonna be? No, I got it. I got it. I got it. I Here's a
All right,
potential
tell
one.
me,
Okay,
tell me.
so you know how he's in four. He's always talking about his girl.
Yeah.
She breaks up with him.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. She breaks up with him, and because of the and because of that moment, he falls into this depression,
Hmm.
and he gets even fatter than he was already until and until let's say in part of the story he meets this mysterious stranger who
Hmm.
says I can make you the greatest martial artist in the world.
Hmm.
And so he does that. Now the joke is this. This is the joke.
Hmm.
The greatest martial artist in the world
Hmm.
is Dan.
Nah.
Oh, come on. Come on. You'll Danny Beaky will be seen as an official master, and who does he pick as his first student? Rufus.
Nah, nah, you lost me.
Ah, I thought it would have been nice to grow in a way to grow these characters, and they're still silly. But then
Nah,
how
joke characters are joke characters. Stop making them grow.
Frick, Danny Beaky has his own arc when it turns up with revenging his dad.
Nah, he's a joke character.
Joke characters can have arcs, man. Come on.
No, you're a joke, and you don't have an arc because I am the main character of this story.
Okay. Oh, I see Kirito. Okay, I see how it is. I see. I see. Let me know. Let me know when you start hanging out with your pseudo sister.
I am a beater.
Wait, what?
That's what they called him. He was a beta cheater, a beater.
Oh, I heard something different.
I'm
Because I mentioned the sister, and then you said, "In my ears, I heard I'm a beat her."
oh, dang.
I'm like, "What the
Oh.
heck?" G-"
Yes, I'm a beater too. Just for that, I'm a beater.
Online, of course, not real life.
I don't have a sister, so I'm a beater relentlessly. There you go.
You would be a beater, and it, but not a cheater. Be beaters, not cheaters.
Well, a beater is a beta cheater, like closed beta beat
It
a
do,
closed beta cheater.
it doesn't count because it's not the main game.
That's what you would think, but that's the whole thing in Sword Art Online.
I don't care. I don't watch that show.
Well, the name
The
itself
closest
is
I watched
stupid.
that show was the abridged series,
The I mean, the name itself is stupid because you're kind of making him sound like he's gonna beat your ass.
or just another word for the masturbation.
He's the masturbator. He's baiting us. He's the
He's-
masturbator.
have you ever seen that infomercial with that device used to gut out fishes?
No.
Oh, I gotta find it. I gotta find it on YouTube. I think it's like so they like it's called this. I think it is actually called the masturbator. It was a real product. Let's see, master. Here, I think yeah, I think this is it. This. Oh wait, no, that's a spoof. Oh no 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 no. Okay, I remember. Okay, I see it now.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna share this with you. Let's see.
Own 'em. I'll do it.
No, not that one. Maybe this one. Okay, here it is. Keep in mind, this is not some like weird Adult Swim spoof. This
Mm.
was a real commercial in the early '90s. So I'm gonna post it here on our Discord, and I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna play it for the audience to see.
Mm.
It's playing right now.
Okay. Who wants to clean and debone 'em? I'll do it. What gives? You want to do it? Just wait till you see what I've got. It's the Wonder Boner. The Wonder Boner? Oh, you laugh now. Just
Give me a
watch.
second, I'm
You just assemble the Wonder Boner stainless steel rods like this. Take the fish, find the top of the spine, slide him through the ring on the Wonder Boner, and voila! The Wonder Boner. My wife would like that.
Introducing the Wonder Boner, the amazing new fishing tool that makes deboning fish a breeze.
That's about the Wonder Boner.
I feel like I've seen this.
It's pretty infamous, so most likely. Still though, the Wonder Boner.
The Wonder Boner.
My wife will like that. Oh, they have to be in on the joke. They would not say that if they were not in on the joke. Imagine the trademark for that. Like going to the patent office and being like, "All right, what do you want to patent? I want to patent my Wonder Boner, sir. My Wonder Boner. I use it to bone fish. Oh,
Oh my.
oh, oh my." But thank you for making me remind the Wonder Boner. Thank you, Starter Online. You did something good for once. Oh man, and with all that, that's about it. Going down Kelly Memory Lane, to RE4. We can call it here. Could call it an episode. Rather short one than we had these past few ones. But hey, it's not always about length, you know, and especially with the
It's
special
always how you
appearance.
use it.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
how you use it.
It's how you use it, like the Wonder Boner.
Yep.
So with with all that said, we're come to our closing segment of the show. Jack, what do you have planned up for the channel for our until the next episode.
Probably will do another. I'm not sure what I'll be playing, but depending on who joins me or not, if my friend joins me or not, I will probably play some Valorant. That'll be interesting to see, or another Civ game because we still need to finish that one.
All right. And as for me, I actually have a lot in the pipeline. So first off, I have completed the second episode of Spider Blood. Like literally 30 minutes, no, about like 2 hours before we went on aired. I finished editing the darn thing,
Hmm.
and thank God I planned to make it a longer episode. I did, about like 3 minutes, so it makes like a 10-minute video.
Hmm.
So I finally found like okay, a good a good length, a good girthy length. And so I will be releasing that tomorrow, probably around noon in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
Yep, Spider Blood episode 2. And actually thankfully I found a few, and I'm getting a bit better at my editing, so it's going to be you're going to be seeing obvious improvement from episode 1 episode 2. That's all I can say
Hmm.
on that. Um, as well tomorrow, around 9 p.m. I will do my chill stream as well, where pretty much I'm gonna be on stream. I think I finally found a way to get Sonic Adventure to have that be streamed through OBS.
Hmm.
So I'll probably be playing a little bit of that, and whoever joins me with the chatting, I'll be doing that. Probably that'll be another 3 hours worth of we talk. And lastly, is in a major announcement, and I would put it on Twitter. On Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, I will be bringing back the hack not Hank hack hangout, and I will be speaking with a independent artist and editor by the names of Jay Ishido Finney and Kat Rocha, known for their books Case File Archives Volumes 1 and 2, World War Kaiju, and, and among other books that I'm not that I don't recall at the moment. But I'm gonna be having a in-depth discussion with them, talking about writing, asking them about how they came to be independent creators, what was that process like, and as well see if I can squeeze in a few jokes here and there. I already got a nice song planned up well before the interview properly begins.
Oh no, he's singing.
I'm
He's
not
gonna sing.
I'm not gonna sing. No, I'm not gonna sing.
Oh,
No, no,
he needs to sing.
no. I don't feel the need to sing. I'm good. But so do keep out on that. It's gonna be this Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Admittedly, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous because I'm gonna be talking with
Do
rather
you do
be
you
talking
need me
with
to drive?
professionals.
Do you need me to drive to your house and break quarantine code by holding your hand?
No, I will be fine. I've already getting things prepped up with writing down questions. It's not gonna be super. It's not. I'm not gonna be going on impromptu. Gonna have a layout. Gonna have questions already prepared. So things don't things don't get weird or awkward.
Well,
Uh,
let's hope for that. I hope the best for you. I wish you good luck.
yes, because after that, because I got another one planned already.
Ooh.
so I can't mess this up. And with all that said, if you're rewatching this, thank you. Thank you for watching all the way through. Hope you enjoyed our discussion of RE4 and Capcom. And I will also want to remind people that you can follow me hack at dandy_spike on Twitter, and you can follow Jack on Twitter through his Twitter handle.
At too lazy to do stuff with only one F.
There you go. And with all that said, this is Hack. Sign off.
Bye, everyone.